And he says this is research. Would you say this is a good research?
No, of course not.
Right. So what would be a good research?
And I admit that my research isn't good.
How would you
It's just
improve
from
your
my-
research?
Well, hopefully talking to someone like you who can enlighten me. If Uthman did write it,
Well, we're not talking about Uthman. We're talking about research methodology for a layperson. How would we then improve our research to enlighten
Well, you'd have
ourselves,
to go to,
have some knowledge
you
about
go to
other
Christian,
people?
you go to
Imagine,
Muslim.
look, I don't know this gentleman.
Yeah.
So imagine I want to know what he believes in ideologies, his culture, and I go to someone I know, he's his enemy, and learn all about him from his enemy.
My brother.
This is not going to be a good research, is it?
Oh, no.
Answer. Uthman is not Arab.
We're not talking about Uthman, brother.
Well,
No. You're not, brother. One thing, you are it's very important to understand what the problem is.
Yeah,
The problem is not Uthman. The problem is this gentleman, who is older than you and I,
Yeah.
is making a judgment about other faith community other than his own.
no,
He's a
I'm not.
Christian,
I'm not.
and you are making a judgment about Islam and how.
No, not about it.
Okay.
How
Do
it
you believe?
started, the man there
Okay, let
said
me
the
ask you-
Bible has changed.
let me ask
right?
you a question.
That's how it all started. No,
Do
no.
you
You have
accept?
to see the context. The man, my friend there, said, your Bible has all changed, blah, blah, blah. It's not the same. How many books wrote? And then I said, well, the same could be said about the Quran. Because according to some sources,
Which sources?
and according to what I've read,
Yeah. What did you read? That's the question.
all,
So come-
He said
all the
that
warriors
Quran
were killed.
Was written
Subhanallah. Ya Allah,
It
yes.
was written by Uthman.
You are focusing on, my brother, the answer.
I don't know.
I'm focusing on the
Saying
diagnosis.
I've been deceitful.
It's a huge difference.
How the
Look,
can
if you want to,
If he can
if he
convince
was
me
a
otherwise,
patient that came to your surgery
tell
and
him?
you're a doctor,
Because I feel like I'm on my own.
you are not going to give him the medicine straight away. You would want to know which medicine is the best medicine that will work.
yeah.
So, but you're thinking about the medicine. You're not thinking about the
Well, if you
problem.
can educate me, Monsieur.
Right.
Okay.
So now
how do you
let-
know they weren't all killed?
Okay,
and I
listen.
will agree if you tell me.
Fine. So now I'm telling
How do
you,
you know they weren't?
the information we have must come from the earlier sources.
Right.
The earlier sources we have is the hadith.
Right.
The hadith says many of those Quran memorizers, Hafad, were martyred.
Which hadith? Bukhari or
We can provide you the hadith, no problem. It says many of them. So it doesn't say all of them.
Right.
So that's point number one. It doesn't say every single one of them died. It says many of them. And we know some report says at least 70. And this is a large number because 70 of the Muslims who memorized the Quran
Yeah.
have been martyred.
Yeah.
This was an alarming concern. And that's why they said now we need to now have something to protect this Quran
Yeah.
from being lost.
Was that
Why?
Uthman said that? No, just enlighten me. I'm not being smart.
Uthman didn't say that. It was eventually come down to
Uthman.
him so that he would make a decision
Right.
to do a project
Right.
to safeguard the Quran from being lost. Because how was the Quran transmitted primarily? Quran was
Orally.
by memorization.
Memorization.
Yeah. So if the people who are transmitting the Quran are the ones who are being martyred or killed, then you will have a problem. That is why they said, look, we need to gather the Quran under one mushaf, one bound book. When they did that, I will explain to you the process because that's where the brother was.
Was it Uthman said get it in one book? Was it Uthman?
One moment.
Am I right there?
One moment. As you want to know whether the Uthman himself compiled it or not, when that happened, well, I will come back to this in a moment. When this happened, do you know what happened? No. He did not say, go on, there you go, copy from this book and have it everywhere. There was no need for it. People were doing exactly as they were did before. They were transmitting the Quran from their memory. They're transmitting the Quran from what they've written. And they're writing and they're transmitting it. So it was there to ensure if the problem became very severe, they can always refer to this master.
Okay.
And what is this master? Okay, how did they compile it? How did they put together this Quran? Remember, he is only the leader of the Muslims,
Right.
being the overseer of the project to collect the Quran under one book. Yeah?
Yeah.
What did he do? We know that he was also a memorizer of the Quran.
Who?
With Uthman. We know, radiallahu anhu. We know there were other companions.
Did he know your prophet? Did he know your prophet? Did he?
Of course. He was one of the
Excuse
close.
my ignorance.
He was one of the close companions. Okay.
Sorry, yeah.
So there are
that's okay. I'm just letting
many companions, like many disciples,
Yeah.
as you understand,
Yes,
disciples
yes,
of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They memorized the whole of the Quran,
Okay.
but they didn't just say, "Okay, fine, you know what? Here's my Quran," and make copies of it.
Right.
If they did, imagine they did that, you would say, "But that's from that companion, Mark, only." What about other people? If it was only from Uthman, radiallahu anhu,
Hey?
Most everybody's got bad memories as well. You never read.
Bad memory, yeah. Well, everyone's got memory, yeah.
yeah. So what if that individual, he made some mistakes? Yeah.
Yeah.
You could say that. So
Yeah.
in order to stop this kind of later questioning and doubt, what they did, they initiated a project in which the most primary material would be brought forward to be incorporated within this bound book. So he said, whoever has heard and wrote down the Quran directly as they have heard and learnt, bring them forward so we can be including them, and bring a witness also who can testify. So the Quran was collected by various people in various forms. They came and came to present the material with, whether it was written in stone or in a parchment or in the shoulder blade of a camel or a goat or in the palm. Steve looks, various materials.
getting a picture of it.
Yeah. So they came together. So every single verse or ayah of the Quran, one by one, was being collected
Yep.
by the primary witnesses who learned, got the Quran dictated
Yep.
in the presence of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, verse by verse. So they did all of that. And the person who's doing that project with Zayd bin Thabit, radiallahu anhu,
What was his name? Baba.
Zayd ibn Thabit, Zayd bin Thabit. He came to a point where there was one verse
If you read it, you'll see.
people are not coming up with. Now, how did he know there was one verse still there to complete the Quran? Because he knew it from his memory, because he knew it from his own book, on his own copy. So did the others.
So, was he a companion of
Yes,
the Prophet?
yes. But he didn't just include it in his compilation official project. He wanted someone to come who was written it in the direct presence of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Primary witness, primary autograph. He waited until someone came. Khuzaymah bin Thabit al-Ansari, another companion. He came with this verse. So now we have historical evidence that the Quran that was officially compiled by the auspices or supervision of Uthman, yes, was what? Remember, there's two times this event happened. One during the reign of Abu Bakr,
Right.
and one during the reign of Uthman.
Abu Bakr was a companion with
Yes.
Yeah.
The
I've heard of
Uthmanic compilation, which I didn't clarify earlier to you, is not about when the people were being martyred in the Battle of Azerbaijan.
Right.
That was the first compilation.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
During Uthmanic compilation,
Yeah.
it's when people are reciting, when they were in Azerbaijan, Muslim armies were together, and they were reciting the Quran in the ahruf, in the several ways of recitation that the Prophet and the companions taught them. At that point, they were saying, my recitation is better than yours. That was alarming because they were saying, no, mine is better than yours, and they're about to quarrel and fight, and very bad. So they came eventually to the notice of the Khalif, Uthman, and he says, now I will make an official copy and distribute it so that people can make copies of this.
Okay.
And he did an independent compilation and then compared with the first compilation, and he found
And they compared them together.
they were the same. So what was the first compilation? This is what I was referring to initially. In the first compilation, they were bringing all these verses together, and they couldn't find that verse. And that last companion came, and they collected all of this, and then it was left with the Khalif.
Yep.
And when the Khalif died, this is in the battle. Which time? It was kept with Omar, radiallahu anhu, Khalif.
Yep.
And then when he passed away, his daughter, Hafsa. Okay?
Yep.
And that was then compared in the second compilation.
Right.
So if you look at this history
Yeah.
of the Quran,
Yeah.
you will see the first and the second compilation. It gives you such confidence in the preservation of the Quran,
Right.
unparalleled even to the standards of today. Yeah, from primary autographs. That is why the difference between the Quranic preservation and transmission compared to the other books is a hugely different. So one can easily ask, how was the Bible transmitted? You don't have those mechanisms of transmission. That's why today, when a new manuscript comes, the whole Christendom is like this. Oh, is it going to be any different?
Well,
Is it
there are
going to be hugely
thousands of different manuscripts and bits of manuscript they found of the Bible.
And
they
do they
do a
find-
similar thing. They
do they-
compare them all.
Do they find these manuscripts are exactly
Yeah.
identical to the manuscripts of the Bible which has been used to make your translations?
Yeah.
They
It's-
don't.
It's very complex.
They don't.
Yeah. But
They
I appreciate
don't.
you explaining it.
So they
Thank you
don't.
again, Monsieur.
Yeah, that
and
is
I
why-
didn't mean to make a statement out of ignorance. I was caught up in the passion, where the man was saying the Bible's blah, 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 blah.
But at least now
I
you know.
did try and qualify it. Maybe I wasn't clear enough that it is hearsay, what I said about Uthman and the warriors all being killed.
Yeah.
It was sort of hearsay.
Yeah. So just to
But
clarify that.
But I shouldn't present that as fact.
Yes. So,
Which I hoped I wasn't doing.
yeah. No.
And
So
I
just to,
shouldn't.
just to clarify then, there was
But I
two,
mean, if what you're saying-
two compilation
Yeah, yeah.
happened.
Yeah.
Second compilation
Yeah.
is by Uthman,
Yeah.
only to standardize the
Right.
Quran
Yeah.
recitation to
Yeah.
the people.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The first compilation is to prevent the loss of the Quran.
Yeah.
Because the
Yeah.
people were being martyred
Yeah.
in this battle. Yeah?
Yeah.
The battle where people were being martyred.
Yeah.
This is with the 70 of them were,
Right.
they passed away.
Yeah.
That's the first compilation.
Yeah.
The second compilation, a bit later, was to standardize into one
Standardise,
text.
yeah.
And people will then be able to read from there.
Yeah. Well, if it's, I mean, I will, look myself. But it is remarkable if what you're saying, I don't mean to cast doubt, but let's assume it is true.
That's our history.
Okay, it's true then. We'll say it's true, and it is remarkable. It is remarkable, but it still doesn't prove that the Quran is actually the word of God. You see?
That is
it's just-
not directly linked to this question, but at least what this demonstrates, the Quran is being preserved and transmitted with this preservation in mind, accurate preservation. We can have confidence that what we read today is the Quran that was transmitted by the Prophet ﷺ. Then you ask this question, knowing and having that confidence the Quran is what the Prophet left behind as the Quran from Allah. Is this from God?
Well,
Then
that's
you
the thing.
ask, how would we be sure and have confidence again that the Quran is from God? This is the question that we should ask. As a Christian, we should ask that question.
Of course, what we do.
How
look into
do we have confidence that the Quran is indeed from God of the universe, the God of Jesus?
Well, that's when it becomes problematic. Both the Quran and the Bible, it can be problematic if you read both, and if you read both a bit too literally. I think it all becomes a bit problematic. There are
When you say
statements-
problematic, you have a particular history of the Bible. But it may not be, as I'm demonstrating to you, we have also the same kind of history where Bible has been changed.
Well,
You
if
have
it's changed or not.
63 books, as you've affirmed,
Yeah.
and you have 72, 73, or various 80, 82 books of the Bible, depending on which church you're talking about. Egyptian Copts, or Roman Catholics, or various others. Each have different number of books, not verses. We're talking about books.
Yeah.
When you are not even in agreement as to number of books that you have, clearly this is a massive corruption of the transmission of your religious text.
Yeah, but there are statements in both books which are problematic. Like in the Quran, it says that the sun sets in muddy water, which is not scientifically, you have to admit it's not. And it also it says somewhere that the sperm or something comes from the backbone. Or was that in Bukhari? It says, and it says if you don't pray before you have sex, the child will be, the shaitan will do some bad stuff to the child and stuff like that.
Let's deal with
Now
it.
there are
Let's deal with
there
these
are
questions.
problems also with some parts of the Old Testament, which you pointed out last week, which are problematic as well.
But
So-
what I would like to do is to remove the idea of problems from the Islamic examples that you've given. You talked about how the Quran describes the sun sets in a muddy pool.
water, yeah.
Right.
sets.
Actually, it doesn't. What the Quran describes is a journey of an individual called
Yeah.
Dhul Qarnayn, the possessor of
Sorry.
two horns.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
There could be various individuals with this military achievement in nature.
Yeah.
In his journey, he came to a point or a time of sunset or a place of sunset, okay, where he saw the sun, setting in this spring,
In the
muddy
yeah.
spring.
Yeah.
Now, when you see the sun setting in a spring, muddy or otherwise, and you see it setting, that is your perception, because that's what you see. But the sun actually doesn't set.
Yeah, but
There
it
is
says
no-
it
one second.
He found it setting.
please,
That means
please,
it doesn't say
please.
it seemed like it set.
Please,
it says
please.
it was setting.
Please try to understand something.
Yeah.
The Quran says, وَجَدَ عِنْدَهَا تَغْرُبُ فِي عَيْنٍ هَمِيَةٍ. He found it setting
Found it, yeah.
in a spring which was muddy. Who found it setting? He did, Dhul Qarnayn. So it was Dhul Qarnayn's perception
Qarnayn,
of
yeah.
the thing. Now, when the Quran describes people's perception, it is their perception. Their perception could be scientific or unscientific. In fact, if you read in the newspapers or somewhere, just 1 second.
Have you got the call?
What time is sunset today? Okay. Are you interrupted? Okay. Just. What time is sunset today? It's okay. It's too much noise. It's trying to work out, right?
I understand the point you're
No.
making. Well,
What time is
I try and
sunset
keep an open
today?
mind, and I understand what Sarah is saying.
Okay. Sunset today will be 1757.
Yeah.
Is this scientific or unscientific?
Sunset will be, well, that's when the sun sets. isn't
Right.
it?
Does the sun really set?
No.
It doesn't. Unscientific.
Well, it does to us.
And now you're not saying you're being unscientific. So yes, in our perception, sun can set and sun can rise, right? Dhul Qarnayn saw the sunset, and he set in a particular area. We can go to a horizon
It sets in the muddy water, doesn't it?
That's when we're total ignorance. We were total
Are you-
ignorant. Now we're not quite so ignorant. We realise it's sunset.
Yeah.
So
Different time,
when you go to a beach and you see the sun setting in the ocean, the sun doesn't actually set in the ocean, but you perceive it so.
Yeah.
Have you ever
I
been
know
to
what
a
you-
beach?
It's still,
Wait. Sorry.
it's still problematic.
Sorry. Have you ever been to a beach?
A beach.
Have you ever seen a sunset in the beach?
Well, I'm from New Zealand and Australia, so of course
Have you seen one?
I don't remember seeing one,
Right.
but
You can see them in internet when you go back
Yeah,
home,
yeah,
and you
yeah.
can see how
Yeah, it
the
looks
sun
like it.
is setting.
Yeah.
Now, if you were to describe to your friends, I saw the sun setting in the ocean, that will be your perception to your friend.
well, they might laugh at me because it doesn't sound. It sounds
They would
a bit
laugh at
funny.
you?
Yeah.
They
Yeah. If
will
I
laugh
said,
at you now, but they wouldn't have done a few years ago.
Hang on,
We
hang on.
didn't know the difference.
You have a very
what are you
strange.
saying?
We
What- what-
realise the sun isn't setting. It's
Yeah, I know, but
It's a
but it says that
misconception
it
of-
sets in the muddy spring.
what we used to have, that way of thinking. Now we haven't got it, so we disregard it.
Yeah,
But we
yeah,
still
but it's a
use
way
it.
of thinking at the
Sorry.
time.
We still use
So
that
if you
expression.
have your friends,
expression, yeah.
when you write to your friends,
Yeah.
I was there in the beach, and the sun set in the ocean,
Right.
and I watched it setting, and then it was dark, then I came home, and your friends will laugh at you. You have strange friends, my friend. Right?
Well,
very
I don't
strange.
think so, because that's a scientific,
No,
that's a modern day.
Even if it was your,
Yeah.
even if it was your
Yeah.
scientist at Harvard, Oxford or Cambridge,
Yeah.
they would not laugh at you. Why? Because these are the natural perceptions
Yeah.
of the events that we see all around us in the horizons, for
So
example.
you don't read
Wait,
the Quran literally?
Sorry, I want you to focus, please. So,
if he
when the
doesn't take it
Quran,
literally,
I'm sorry, can I finish my point? Right? Thank
Yeah,
you.
you
Can I-
finish
I'll let him finish.
You'll
Thank
be
you.
on all
Thank
day.
you.
We'll never get a word in. It's right.
Because
You'll be on forever.
Exactly, because I want to make this point, and then
Okay,
so
you
can
make your
continue.
point, and I'll
right.
listen to it.
So the Quran is simply describing
Yeah.
the perception of Zulqarnain that he found it setting. Totally correct, because that's exactly how Zulqarnain saw it. Now you can say this is unscientific, but this is how Zulqarnain perceived it. So Quran is not making a mistake here. It's describing quite accurately how Zulqarnain perceived the event. So if you were to bring science in and you say the sun doesn't set and sun doesn't rise,
Yeah.
you should ask Google or Siri or people who write in their papers or in the journals or in the articles on the newspapers
Yep.
or in the TV, sunrise at this time and sunset at this time, and you should ask them,
Yeah.
sun doesn't rise, sun doesn't set.
Yeah, what's the way people thought back then?
No,
Let him
today.
make the point.
Didn't I show you from my phone today?
Yeah, you
Speaking
did.
to Siri.
But
So-
if it said on your phone that the sun set,
Yeah.
say it said that the sun set in that green field over there,
Sorry.
well, you would laugh because
Wait,
it wouldn't be so.
Sorry. If the sun sets in an ocean, behind a mountain, or in a spring,
Yeah.
it's our perception of it setting.
Okay. So
If
when
you consider that to be a scientific mistake, then you're not being very fair, and you're not being very, very, very just. Why?
Fair enough.
Because this is clearly a perception of
Yeah.
people. It's not a question about whether sun is setting or not.
Okay.
The Quran is not describing a scientific phenomena here. It's describing a perception of an individual, how he saw it. For example,
yeah, but it doesn't say it looked like it was setting in a
who's
muddy
talking
spring.
about it look like?
It said it was
Say.
setting in a muddy spring. in
That's
the
how
Quran.
Zulqarnain saw
I
it.
don't
But it doesn't
understand
say
it.
that. It says that it was setting.
Sorry.
It was setting in the muddy
I am
spring.
saying Zulqarnain saw it setting. Do you not understand?
Well, if you're happy with that,
Wait. I want to know why you're not happy.
because I still find it problematic.
Why is there a
That's all.
problem?
Because if from a literal reading it says
Literally, yes.
that your Zulqarnain found the sun setting in
Zulqarnain, not Zakir Naik.
Zulqarnain found the sun setting in a muddy spring. End of. It's very black and white.
So if you really saw it there setting, like if I take you to Caspian Sea
Yeah.
or Dead Sea, or in a place where the sun can be seen setting in the waters, and you saw it with your own eyes,
Yeah.
what would you say?
If I saw the sun setting in, I would say it looks like the sun is setting. I wouldn't say it was setting because it wouldn't be scientific if I said that.
So you're a real scientific person, right?
No, well, I'm a child of the 20th, 21st century,
Yeah.
and I'm steeped in the knowledge that I have a bachelor degree from Auckland University, but
We still
that
use the
statement
figures.
seems a bit, it just seems unscientific. I'm sorry.
But this was not a statement of science.
Yeah.
It was a statement of someone's perception.
Well, it's God's.
For example, if somebody says,
We only use it as a
I
figure of speech now.
saw,
Years ago, we used to think it was real.
imagine
That's what he's
somebody
saying.
said, as they are walking
He's trying
past,
to say.
It's a
and
figure of speech.
they said, I saw the Prime Minister of Denmark, thinking that it's you.
Yeah.
Their perception. And if they actually said that,
Yeah.
it is their perception, but their wrong perception. It doesn't make that statement to be unscientific, unreal. It's talking about a statement of perception.
Yeah, but this is the word of your God, though. This is meant to be your God's word for word, what is utter truth. So God, your God, is saying that the sun is setting in a muddy spring.
Let me clarify something. If God says, look, someone speaking here with you today
Yep.
who's wearing a yellow hat,
Right.
but this hat is not yellow. There is no such thing as yellow, is it?
Well, to our, from as far as normal and perception, it is yellow.
Does everyone see the same color as yellow?
Do you see yellow?
Me, I can't see.
He could. So everyone, but
It's a dirty yellow. I must apologise.
Yeah.
It needs to be
yeah,
cleaned.
yeah. But it may not be yellow.
Yeah.
It could be may not be yellow.
It's muddy water.
Yeah. Scientifically, it may not be yellow at
What's
all.
the point
right.
of that? For
I
God's
am
sake?
saying, just because someone describes something,
I get your point totally, Mansour.
but
I
not, but
understand your point.
you're saying it's still a problem. That's where I have an issue with.
It's only a problem because
wait.
the way you see your Quran
No.
has been word for word. It is the word literally of your Lord, right? It's His word, literally, word for word.
the word of God.
And so there appears to be, if it's coming from the God of the universe and it's literal, and He says the sun setting in a muddy spring,
Wrong.
but then
That's not what he said. Try again.
if it was actually true, God, the Lord would say it appeared to be
No,
sitting.
try again. That's not what he
He
says.
said it was sitting.
No, try again. Now I'm going to be very harsh today now.
Yeah.
What did the Quran actually say?
Will you tell me what it actually
The Quran said, as I've spoken to you already, given to you the Arabic already,
said? Yeah.
that when Dhul Qarnayn was in his travels, as he traveled to the east or to the west, then he came and he found it. He found
the
it
sun,
setting.
yeah. He found it setting in a muddy
Right.
sphere. Yeah, you're right.
Is it true he found it setting?
He found it setting. Is it true he found it setting?
Is it literally true he found it setting?
From his perception, and being a person of the 4th century.
No, even
he
today,
found it.
if I were to analyze that statement, God is describing he found it setting.
Well, if you saw the sun going down over there, right? Would you say, and looks like it's going in behind that tree?
No.
Would you say that you found it setting in the tree?
Wait. If I say you found it setting,
I found it setting in the tree.
would I be correct?
No. Well, how could you be
No,
correct?
because
No.
if you found it setting in an ocean, think about ocean, might make it easier for you. When you see the sun setting in an ocean, and I say, what's your name?
Mike,
If I say Mike found the sun setting in an ocean,
Report is
would I be correct
He's reporting.
in
to-
reporting your perception?
He's reporting to me now about it.
I'm reporting to this friend
Before.
your perception of the sun setting in an ocean. Am I correct in my reporting about your perception? You have to admit that I am pretty much correct. That's how you found it.
so your Lord who wrote the book,
Mike, what's your name?
Arthur.
If I told Arthur that Mike found the sun setting in an ocean, and actually this is what he described to me, and this is what he described to everyone else, this was his own experience, and I told you that. Am I reporting his perception correctly?
No,
Why not?
because he was mistaken in thinking the sun was set. You said he found the sun set. That's
see?
your word.
was mistaken.
Factual.
Yes.
You're
I
giving a
didn't think of
factual
that.
definition of what he was doing.
Yeah.
He was mistaken in
I was
thinking
mistaken,
the sun was
Monsieur.
setting there because he didn't realise we've moved on in knowing factual information.
Let me correct you, Arthur, here. Let me correct you,
explained it
Arthur.
better than I could.
Correct.
He had a perception.
That's right.
Whether you say it's a mistake or not, that was his perception. Yes or no?
His perception was that.
Right.
But he was mistaken.
Wait.
You said he found the sun setting.
Wait,
That's what you said.
wait.
You didn't say his perception.
Yeah, he didn't
was.
say his
You said,
perception.
wait,
You said he found
the
it
sun
setting.
setting.
Wait,
He
excuse me.
didn't.
Arthur, I want you to focus as well. When I described to
very good,
you,
this man is.
when I described to you, he found it setting. Did he find it setting?
No.
No.
I'm sorry, I have to leave you both from the discussion.
wait a
Sorry.
minute.
Thank you, Monsieur.
Thank
Anyway.
you. Thank you.
He was under a
I do appreciate
misconception
your
of what
time.
was happening.
Wait. Firstly, he did find it setting, but you don't agree with his perception.
No, I don't. That's not the truth. He didn't even find it setting. He was mistaken in thinking
he
it was
was
setting.
mistakenly
It was setting nowhere.
Exactly.
It wasn't even setting at all in reality.
So he didn't find it setting.
I've said that 3 times.
Wait.
He didn't.
So when
I
he
said it 3 times.
so when he said it, when he saw it setting, and
No, wait a minute. His perception was in his
It was his perception, but it was mistaken. Yeah.
am I describing his perception correctly?
His perception.
Am I describing his perception correctly?
Perception was. No, wait a
Yeah,
minute.
but it doesn't say perception in the Quran.
Right.
Sorry.
You didn't see him finding the sun setting. You didn't see that. You were mistaken in thinking you saw him seeing the sun
Yes, he
setting.
was mistaken.
I am describing his perception.
Thank you.
Wait. Don't thank you like this. I know, like that, Mike. Okay, let's clear this.
Yeah.
You are old enough to understand.
alternative.
Hang on. There's old enough to understand this issue where we're
Both
discussing.
of us are very
Thank you.
older
Yes.
than you. So
We are old.
When he sees his setting, is this his perception? Firstly,
When-
don't talk about-
He's not seeing it setting, for God's
he
sake.
didn't
He's
see
not
it.
seeing.
It was his
He's mistaken.
oh, he's imagining it.
No.
No.
Yes. No, what is
Yes or no? Sorry.
What is
Is he imagining it setting?
perception.
No, what is
Sorry,
doing?
one second.
What is-
One second.
What he's doing is, years ago, when he was learning what happens in the universe, we used to say,
No, you're not really.
we're looking at the sun setting in the sky, we're looking at over the sea, we're looking watching the sunset. In fact, we still do it all the time. It's a figure of speech.
Figure of speech.
It's not literally.
So have you yourself
It's not-
been to an ocean?
It's not literally factual.
literally factual.
Now, if you get someone that uses facts, deals in facts, and nothing but facts, evidence, they won't
Have
say,
you seen a
they
sunset
won't say
then?
what you said.
Have you seen a
They
sunset?
would say, that gentleman over there is looking at the sun and is finding that it appears to be setting in the
seems to
sea.
be, yes.
And
What
we
was-
now can tell him that isn't the case.
Sure.
He's mistaken in thinking.
One second.
It's
Have you ever
presenting
seen
it
a
as
sunset in an ocean?
it's presenting.
One
it-
second. Have you ever seen a sun setting in the oceans? Have you
I
seen?
know what you're talking
No. Have you ever been to an area in the sea
It looks
beach
like it's set in
and
the ocean.
it looked like it's setting? Have you
It's
seen
not
one?
a reality.
We use it as a figure of speech.
Yeah, it's a figure of speech.
Wait. Why do you just discuss between yourself? Discuss with me.
No, because
Have you ever been
I'm not
to a
getting
beach?
anywhere with
No,
it.
have you ever been to a beach where it was the time of sunset?
Not like that. It's on your
Now, have you ever been to a situation like that?
747. The sun will set. It says.
Sorry. Have you ever had a personal experience of a sunset near the oceans?
I've never timed it.
Have you ever seen
I've never timed.
day becomes night
wouldn't want to
while you're in the beach?
Huh?
While you're sitting on the beach, the sun was moving and then it became dark and sun was not to be seen. Have you ever experienced this event?
I think so. Yeah.
Good. When you saw this event, what did you see in the oceans, in the horizon?
My eyes. What did they
What
tell
did your eyes see?
What I saw was what's going on here in this situation appears to be that the sun is setting in the sea. But we know for a fact
appears to be.
Wait,
it's
wait.
not doing
Slow
that.
Slow
It's
down.
appearing to do it.
So what did you see exactly?
Where,
What did you exactly see?
disappeared.
So you saw the sun disappearing in the ocean. Was that your perception? I've got you now to think.
You
Was
haven't
that
got
your
me.
perception?
It appears to have been.
But it looks
but-
like
Wait.
that. That's
Don't
what
say
it looks
appears
like,
to be.
yes. Yes,
Was
it
that your
appears.
perception?
Oh, it is said 1,000 times.
Yes, that's our
We
perception.
didn't
Yes.
actually see it set.
Wait.
We didn't.
What did you see? The sun
Saw the
disappearing.
sun going down
Thank
into the
you.
ocean.
So that perception, now I can describe to you, Mike, the author saw the sun disappearing in the ocean.
Right.
That was his
No,
perception.
you can't do that. It
can't
appeared to be, from my point of
So I
view.
can't do that, what you saw.
No, you can't.
So when you saw the sun in your own words
You didn't see
disappearing
it
in the ocean,
No, don't let him bamble.
hang on, you said
Well,
the
he's trying to
sun,
make a point.
You said the
do
sun
understand what
disappeared
he's
in the
trying to
ocean.
say.
I don't.
Yeah.
you said, Arthur, the sun disappeared in the ocean. I am describing this event. He found the sun disappearing in the
I
ocean.
said the sun appeared to disappear. It didn't actually disappear.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what I s-
It doesn't-
I didn't.
wait.
I didn't separate the two.
Did it
things.
disappear?
It appeared to disappear.
Hang on, when you say appear, did it really disappear or not?
No,
No, of course it doesn't.
So the sun was there still. Wait. The sun was still there, right?
no, it wasn't.
So
It
sun
was
dis-
somewhere else.
Wait. So you have the horizon, the ocean.
trying to tell me the
Wait,
Quran. I can
excuse
tell
me.
you this, you're gonna-
Arthur, focus please. So you have the horizon in the ocean, and you the sun
Sunset, yeah.
going down and down and down.
Yeah, I understand.
And did it disappear at one point?
Yes, it must.
Sorry. Did it disappear at one point?
No,
What?
You're just arguing for the sake of arguing.
no, we're not.
Sorry.
It appeared to disappear.